to Power Conversations podcast by What's Your Superpower TV. This podcast features conversations of overcoming by faith and pushing through to fulfill a purpose-driven life. This podcast is hosted by CEO and best-selling author Nadia Francois. Welcome to the broadcast. Welcome, everyone, to Power Conversations Podcast Summer Book Tour, the Juneteenth edition. Power Conversations is a division of What's Your Superpower Digital Media, a kingdom empowerment brand that offers visibility opportunities to entrepreneurs, authors, coaches, and community leaders. Learn more at www.whatsuperpower.com. Today we have joining us one of my good colleagues and visionary author, Paula Johnson Hutchinson. Hi, Queen. How are you?
I am well. Hello, everyone. Hello from the West Side. Hope all is well.
Yes,
Thank you for having me.
you are very welcome. Go ahead and tell our viewers about yourself.
I am a retired from behind the chair author now. So yes, after 30 years, I have done my time. I am officially from behind the chair.
Love
So
it.
I still in the beauty world in terms of having my own product line, which does really well. Super proud of that. And I am the curator and CEO of the Stiletto Talks, where we create collaborative safe spaces for women. We've done that since 2016, and we have everything from magazine to events to podcasts and books, which is what we're talking about today. So I'm gonna give y'all a condensed version because we don't have enough time for that. But I've been around for a minute and been blessed to be able to pivot with the community support. So thank you again for having me.
You are very welcome. Now let's get into this amazing book you have coming out. Tell us about the stretching season of an entrepreneur.
Woo! Well, I have been a entrepreneur for 30 years now. And it has definitely been, it has its ups and it has its downs. I mean, that it's just like the economic cycle. There are moments where everything is good, and there are moments where you're wondering, like, why am I an entrepreneur? And so in this season right now, of course, we all have been inside for 2 years. We've had to reimagine our brands, start thinking about legacy, and we now have this also new influx of entrepreneurs, which is great to see. Most of it is done because they had no choice. They may have been forced into it. Others saw that they decided to be a part of the Great Resignation. And so this book is about what it takes to be an entrepreneur. You have to stretch, you know.
Mhm.
Yes, you have to have faith, but you also have to do the work. And that work may look like you stretching beyond your usual work time. You used to 9 to 5. It may be 9 to 9. So the book actually is an anthology project, which is my second anthology project. And it basically just runs you through the different scenarios of what we go through, especially as women of color, when we make a decision to do these businesses, because majority of us are self-funded.
Yes.
And we're taking our passions and creating monetary opportunities with it. So when you think about that, you have to think about, what does it take? And yes, it takes some stretching, because there are some days you're not going to want to do it. So it's just a real transparent book, but to also not to give the bad news, but also to provide the hope, the things that you may
Yeah.
need to do to pivot, to avoid some of the pitfalls of that some of us have the t-shirt, trophy, and plaque for. You want to pay it forward and help up and coming entrepreneurs or those who are veterans to maintain in this present day, because things are just changing so fast as we get used
Yes.
to one thing, there's another platform, there's something else going on, and that we need to meet the moment. So it's all about preparation, meeting the moment, and foretelling, maybe what's to come and how they can help prevent some of those pitfalls that some of us have experienced, and have a more pleasant time, in their time as an entrepreneur.
Yes. Look, all I can say is yes to all of that because listen, the stretch baby is real. I put it like that. So listen, you mentioned that it's an anthology. Who are your co-authors?
Well, I've been very blessed and fortunate in my lifetime to know so many amazing women, and you still got time until the 12th of July to be a
Oh,
part. Um,
good.
but we have Kern Crockett Cherry. She has the Power Up Summit. She has KK Connections. She's a international coach, international best-selling author. We both know her. We're both in her circle, and so there are not a lot of us that choose to lead from the forefront, and Kern certainly does that. We
Yes.
also have Dr. Sharia Lane. Dr. Sharia Lane is an educational expert, particularly focusing on educational disparities that happen in our community. So, very excited to have her in as she talks about her transition from university teaching into just full time doing her own business and advocating for our children. We
Okay.
have Venezuela Williams, who is from Dallas, Texas. And so she is just an amazing HR manager. She manages over 3,000 people in her respective company. And then she also has her own consulting firm. So, what that looks like to be a dualpreneur.
Yeah.
We have Dr. Felicia Young, again, someone else we both know.
Yeah.
She is an higher education guru. If you have scholarships, if you need to find funding for your baby or for yourself regarding post secondary education, she's certainly on the forefront of that, of making sure we're aware of what to do to offset some of this debt that unfortunately we
Yeah.
fall into, as especially women of color. We hold more post secondary debt than anyone else in the country. So while
Wow.
we may be the most educated, we're also the most in debt. And then lastly, one that besides myself that I'm super proud of, my mother passed away in April, but her goal always was to be an author. And so before she passed away, she was like, well, throw me in the book. And so she actually took the time to write something so insightful because she never got her chance to do entrepreneurship. That was always a dream of hers. And she talks about intentionality. And so I am very grateful that she will have the opportunity to posthumously be an author with the rest of us. So definitely excited about this
Amazing.
project.
Oh, that's amazing. Yes. Ooh, that's going to be good. That's going to be good. And y'all heard this. You can still be a part until July the 12th. So, my entrepreneur ladies, come on, you want to be a part of this project. All right. So, with that being said, I know that your motivation is purely to inform and let other people know, what this journey is, because it's definitely a journey, a faith walk, entrepreneurship. But how did you begin your writing journey? Because I know you have other publications besides this one.
Yep. Great question. It just started, I had started going back to school. I think at the time I was getting my associate's degree. And of course, being a salon owner, you hear so many stories. One of the first stories that I had was right after the recession of 2007 and 8. Uh, People were reimagining their lives and what they could do, but also they were having all these hair problems because you don't have a job, you're in transition, your hair is falling out. And so my first book was The Roots of Our Hair, which was to provide a roadmap whether you were at the salon or not, because many people had to put off getting their hair done, maybe those extended services, to be able to, right the ship, if you would, at the
Yeah.
house. And so they needed to have professional care, maybe from afar. And so that's how that first publication came out. And then from there, we had How to Get Free from People. And How to Get Free from People is from the same thing. These conversations are, oh, she did me wrong. You got to talk about people in the shop. You got to cry. You got to go through all of this stuff. And you just teach them that while that may be the case, yes, there are some situations where friendships don't always end the way we would like them to. Sometimes distance has something going on. And yes, people can be very close to you and not be happy for you. But you have to learn to recognize it for what it is, and just learn to move on. We have to allow ourselves the time to heal. Sometimes we stay too long in that relationship trying to fix it. You're the only one trying to fix it. And so it started out, every book that I've done has basically been about help. Help. How can we help? Help the
Yeah.
situation of the day. You see things that come up. People are wondering, like, how can I navigate this particular space? And so pretty much every project I've been in, whether it's in an anthology or something like that, has been based on help. some kind of way to help the community, particularly women, as we just often struggle so much. We take everything to heart, even if you're an apathetic person, if you're a person that just kind of, you deal with things in quantitative situations, you kind of
Right.
measure everything out like a scientist, it still doesn't stop the impact of what you feel in the heart. You're still a human. And so those emotions come up. And so that is where I'm just committed to always doing books to hopefully help someone process all this stuff. A lot of time we're doing self-care. Part of self-care is doing the work to heal, because you
Yeah.
can't help someone else. You can't extend your energy. Sometimes your business is successful because of the energy that you bring to the table. So you got to
Yeah.
heal so that way you can attract the right things to you. So that's pretty much how the project started, and they've been rolling ever since.
That's good. 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 And so when you start, well, you know, I know that writing is therapeutic. It's a part of that healing, especially when you start writing to publish. It really brings a lot of emotions out. It starts that healing process, hopefully, and helps you complete it by the time you're done with your writing. But what motivates you when you write?
The thing that motivates me when I write is to see someone get that book and see that you see me, you hear me, you understand what I'm saying, you understand why my tears fall, you understand why I do my Facebook rants, you understand, my loneliness, you understand where I am as of today, you understand my happiness or my joy. I love, again, in the beauty industry, it's our job to always transform people.
Yeah.
They come in one way, they leave another way. They leave all their hats, former wigs, all of that in the salon. And so, because they've now transformed, now they the new me.
Yes, they
And
ain't looking for
so
that
that
wig,
that
baby.
transformative process, yeah, that transformative process take place. We have
Yes.
this big lost and found. They don't want it the next time because they feel like
Nope.
they moved on from that.
Yeah.
And the same thing. So it's always been about a transformative process. So even for myself, by the time I finish a project, I've transformed. I've
Yeah.
learned so much because I've either talked to someone, I've had to interview them. You've done the research on this situation. Definitely don't like speaking to something I haven't researched.
Mhm.
And when you finish, like you stated, there's a healing that takes place, and you're able to move forward and stand in your truth, and hopefully that others can stand in their truth of where they are. You may be further up the road than them, you may be further behind them, but whatever it is, you can take ownership, because once you take ownership of certain things, people can't hold that over your head.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that unfortunately the pandemic did not stop, was uh, people just not being kind to one another. If anything,
Yeah.
I think it is amplified, and now they messier than they were before.
Right.
And so I think that books are a way for all of us to disconnect, to go
Mm.
into a place of healing, and like I said, just healing from the inside out. And
Yeah.
that's always at the forefront for me. And it's healing for me. I always hope that it's healing for others. And when you get that feedback, and you see those smiles or you see those tears, and they just hug you like, thank you so much for this, you said it the best way it could be said. That's what it's kind of like, cooking a meal, preparing a meal. When you prepare it and you set it on the table, you put it out there for the world, and people understand what you're saying. It's just like a song that you hope that they can interpret it well, of what you tried to bring across from the table. And that's what I've done. And so I've been very pleased that most people get what I'm trying to say. So,
Yes. Yes.
so
Yeah.
that works.
Well, you definitely communicate your message well. So, listen, if they don't get it, it's not you. So, and how would you say, well, what impact are you trying to make with your work?
My impact is always legacy. My goal is always to be on the right side of history when it comes to my community. Being in the salon, again, you see the real side of the community. They're telling you their real problems. They don't have to put on a facade in the salon. So you get to see what's really bothering them, what's really hurting them, what's really helping them or growing them, or whatever the case may be. And so for me, my impact, I hope, is legacy. That the things that I touch and I put out, that hopefully it will be a continuous help to someone anytime that they need it.
Yeah,
Because if you can't help someone, at the very least, don't hurt them. And
absolutely.
so I'm a believer in, you should never leave someone like you found them. So if they're craving knowledge, you want to have that ability to give them the knowledge that they need if you can. And so that's what I hope my books do. I hope they empower. I hope they inform. Long after I'm gone, I hope that someone can pick it up. Like A Wrinkle in Time, for example. That book was written in the '60s. People pick it up and immediately fall in love with the fact that she could create all of these different subworlds. And so the same way the Camazotz was created, I hope that they can go into their own world and do that internal healing, and come out here and be better people. And because we operate off as people of color often as traumatized people, and we're hurt people constantly hurting each other. And I
Mhm.
hope that my books allow us to identify that in ourselves and to hopefully heal. So that's my hope, the legacy of just spreading hope, and that it's possible. Yeah, you might mess up, take it for what it is and try it again. If you get it wrong, take responsibility, atone, which means you're committed to change. You're not just saying I'm sorry, you're committed to changing and changing for the better, and hopefully you'll pass that on to someone else.
Absolutely. That was good. That's good. So, as we wrap up, I would like you to tell us when we can expect the stretching season of an entrepreneur.
Yes, yes, we got a date. We've had a date now for 2 weeks. We started this project right before I got sick, because I ended up having life-saving surgery. And then the week I came home, we found out my mom had cancer. So we put this whole
Wow.
project on hold. So I am so excited. August the 3rd, which happens to be Black Women's Equal Pay Day. You all know, if you know me, I always put my stuff out around a time. I'm going to celebrate this always. Yes, August the 3rd, you can find us on Amazon. You'll also be able to find us on the StilettoTalks.com website. The pre-sales go on sale on July 15th. That will also be available on Amazon. Will be available in print form and ebook form. So I'm super excited that we are bringing this project to fruition, and one of my mother's lifelong dreams will come to life on August the 3rd. So super excited about that.
Yay, exciting. So at this time, I will allow you to give your final thoughts. And if you have any additional information that we need to know, let us know how to connect with you. And I've already added is www.thestilettotalks.com where we can get the book when it's time.
Yep, as well
All
as that.
right, cool.
Yep.
So go ahead and give us your final thoughts. If you have a pre-sale date and all that good stuff, let us know.
Yes, pre-sale date is July 15th. You'll be able to do so on our website and on Amazon. Make sure that Nadia has the link. So definitely thank you always to WYSP for always putting us out there, always being a community partner and making sure we have the visibility that we need. So thank you so much for that. I appreciate it. If I had any final thoughts, I say everybody has a book on the inside of them, and you should do that. You are a history maker. We've all lived through one of the most historical times in modern history. Everybody has an experience that they need to share with the world. So if you got a book inside of you, get started. Open up Word or open up Google Docs and just start writing. I promise you,
That's
you
it.
have something. The difference between successful writers and those that maybe have never written a book is the fact they did it and you didn't. So get started. That's all I can say. They say in the Bible that the Lord rejoices to see a work begin. So don't despise small beginnings. Just get started. If you want to connect with me, always on all across all social media, the Stiletto Talks. You can also find us online at thestilettotalks.com. We have our magazine coming up. That's all on the stilettotalks.com. So even on Instagram, all social media platforms, Linktree, all that. So super excited again to see this project come to fruition, and always glad to be a part of community partnerships such as WYSP.
Yay. Thank
Oh
you so
yeah, and
much.
pre-sales July 15th. I don't know if I said it, but July 15th.
July 15th, y'all. You are so welcome for being here. And listen, y'all get this book. Be a part. If you are an entrepreneur and you are watching this now or doing the replay, be a part of this compilation. Anthologies change our lives, right? You can be exposed to so much more. The networking, the just the participation the communication with other like-minded individuals is just mind-blowing. So if you are an entrepreneur and you're looking to be in an anthology with some like-minded women that's going to go far, reach out to this queen, www.thestilettotalks.com. If you are just wanting to support and purchase, make sure that you tune in on July 15th for the pre-sales and August 3rd for the big launch. So we are super excited about the stretching season of the entrepreneur. Thank you so much, Paula J. Hutchinson, for joining us. Y'all
Thank
have a
you.
wonderful evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.